Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on the program PngTuber Plus using this example model that I made, and I have that linked in the description for you to download for free. Let's get to it.
So right now you'll see that I have all of these grouped into folders. I just think it's a lot neater this way. But once I'm done with drawing, I'll ungroup all of those folders, so I don't have to click into each one when I'm exporting every layer. It just makes it a lot easier to export. So you'll see here that now I have all my layers ungrouped. And here I'm trying to click Alt and the View button, which usually in Clip Studio will hide every other layer except for the one that you're on, but failing miserably because my laptop sucks. Yep, I'm recording this on a laptop. And now we get a montage of all the layers being exported, and this actually took like 7 minutes to complete. I wish that there was a way to automatically export every layer separately, because that would make things so much easier. To make things faster, I just save it into whatever folder Clip Studio wants to default to, and then I move all the layers into a new folder. I've tried saving it straight into the folder, and I found it just takes longer to do it that way. From there, you can open PngTuber Plus, and when you press Escape, it opens the internal folder. From there, you can move your new folder that has your model into the program, and it'll show up when we need it. Then, you just press this little pencil button in the corner, and that'll open Edit Mode. I have the first model I made currently open, but you can just click on any part and click the delete button to get rid of it. You can use the up and down arrows to switch between layers, or you can just click on them directly. Most people just use the arrows because it's a lot faster. In the top right hand corner here is your layer panel, and I didn't even know that this was here for a while, so I was struggling. And right now I'm just making sure everything's actually deleted. Since we're all good, I'm gonna go to the Add New Sprite button, click that folder that we put in earlier. You can double click a layer to add it to the canvas. If you want to make it easier for yourself, you can add them in order, but if you're lazy like me, you can just reorder them manually. Now that we have all the layers on the canvas, we can go in and reorder them if needed. You can press the Q button to bring a layer back, and the E button to bring a layer forward. I'm pretty sure you can have multiple layers in the same position, so don't worry too much about the number value of each layer. And then my computer crashed, and I had to redo a lot of stuff. And then my recording software didn't record 20 minutes of me rigging, so I lost that footage. But at least I got that back up and running, so we can talk about the mouth toggles and eye toggles. So you'll see two buttons here to control these. The first toggles between mouth open and closed. When you click mouth closed, the layer will only show when you aren't talking. With the mouth open box, it'll only show that layer when you are talking. It's the same with the eye toggles. And now she blinks, and she'll talk when you do. So to link a layer to another layer, make sure that you're on the child layer, that's the one that you want to link to the other, and press either the link button at the top, or P, the hotkey, to link it to the layer that you want to be the parent, or the base layer. So, origin points. It's a bit hard to see, but the origin point is the little dot. You'll notice that the bow is going to move here as well. That's because I have the braid and the bow layers linked. And if you have your layers linked when you move the origin point of the parent layer, it will move the child layer as well. So make sure that you have all of your origin points set properly before linking any sprites. You'll see that you can move the origin point by pressing O and WASD. An origin point is what determines where your item rotates or drags from. Think of it as where your layer is pinned to. You'll see here that when I move the origin point, the bangs will move with it. If your origin point isn't set correctly, it'll look pretty wonky when you try to move that layer. Now, we can talk about rotational drag. Rotational drag is going to be your most used setting. So I'm going to click into the braid here. And you'll see that when I move this slider up, it'll increase the movement. If you move the slider in either direction, it will increase the rotation of your item. You can also adjust the axes using that red slider below. Now, the drag slider. This controls how delayed the movement of your layer is compared to when your character moves. With longer items, you might want to increase the drag to make the movement look more natural. We also have the squash slider, which is pretty self-explanatory. It controls the amount of squish that an item has. It's good for jiggle physics or when you just need an item to be squishy. It's really hard to reset this slider to 0 once you've moved it, so be very mindful of that. And I'm going to go more into depth about linking. So you'll see here that I have the shirt linked to her chest. You can see that even though I haven't increased the squash on the shirt, it's still moving. That's because it's linked to the chest, which has the squash turned on. If you have a sprite linked to another, the child layers will mirror the movement of the parent layer. If you find that your item is clipping and showing the layer beneath it, you can just match the level of bounce or rotation on it. I believe that clipping linked sprites also helped with this, but I haven't messed around with that too much. You can also zoom your model in or out by zooming in on your trackpad or mouse wheel. You might have to hold control while you do this, depending on what version of the program you have. Now, let's say you want a hand asset. I'm going to go up here and click Add New Sprite and import a controller layer. If you need to, you can move it forward or back and use W, A, S, or D to move it around. I'm going to increase the squash just a little bit. I feel like it makes the movement look better. Then I'm going to find the layer and scroll down to the bottom of this left panel. You'll see that there's a white outline around this one. That's because we're currently on the first costume toggle. You'll see that when I click the box, it'll hide and unhide this asset. I want it to be the second costume, so I'm going to black it out on every other costume toggle. You also have the ability to toggle any item without making it a costume. So if I want to be able to take off her leg bag, I can just set a toggle for that, and then I'm able to turn it off or on no matter what costume toggle I'm on. Make sure you have your model saved, and save often because there's not an autosave feature. Then you can click the leftmost button and go down to the little settings wheel. It's kind of hard to see, but it's the first button in the right hand corner. You're going to have multiple sliders in the settings here, including your frame rate, bounce force, and bounce gravity. Bounce force controls how forcefully you bounce, and the bounce gravity is just your gravity physics. You can also change how frequently your character blinks and how fast she blinks. I also always turn on texture filtering because just look at how much of a difference it makes. Makes it a lot smoother. You also have all of your costume toggles here you can change the hotkeys for. And you have your microphone settings with a few sliders down here as well. And that's pretty much all you need to know.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and I really hope that this helped. If it did, make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and even if it didn't help, tell me that in the comments. See you next time.